Madam Deputy Speaker, let me turn to Venezuela. Over the weekend, the US conducted airstrikes on a series of Venezuelan targets and confirmed that it had captured Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. They have been indicted on narco-terrorism, drugs, smugglings and weapons charges. I can confirm to the House that the UK was not involved in these operations. UK policy on Venezuela has long been to press for a peaceful transition from authoritarian rule to a democracy which reflects the will of the Venezuelan people and maintains security in the region and is in line with international law. That remains our position and our determined view about what must happen in Venezuela now. And over the weekend, I discussed this with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and the UK government is in close contact with our international partners on this issue. The first duty of government is the safety and security of our citizens, and my department is working tirelessly to ensure the safety of British nationals. Over the weekend, I spoke with the UK Chargé d'Affaires in Caracas, and all our embassy staff are safe and accounted for and are working to support the approximately 500 British nationals in Venezuela. Our travel advice currently advises against all travel to Venezuela, and British nationals in Venezuela should closely follow our travel advice, which will be kept up to date. Madam Deputy Speaker, we should be under no illusion as to the nature of the Maduro regime. A once functioning democracy has become a hub for very dangerous organised criminal gangs. Corrupt links involved Iran, with Hezbollah increasingly present in recent years, as well as malign support from Russia. And a regime which has facilitated illicit finance, sanctions evasion and organised criminal activity, including narcotics trafficking and illegal gold trading. That undermines the security of the whole region, including UK overseas territories, as well as the United States and other regional partners. The country has been driven into economic ruin with an 80% drop in their GDP in a decade. Over 8 million people have left, causing instability elsewhere in the region.
I know the opposition are blithe about what Trump is doing, but let me say this. There will be countries that will look at Trump's attitude and carelessness to issues of sovereignty, and they will think, what happens if they have that threat? Who will be willing to stand up for them? Who will be willing to stand up for their national sovereignty? As far as I have heard thus far, it won't necessarily be our ministers. And there will be individuals.
Order. The Right Honourable Lady must get to a question shortly, please.
The question is, what would the Foreign Secretary say to British voters, ordinary British voters, not particularly left-wing British voters, that do not understand why a British Prime Minister is not willing to stand up for an international rules-based order and is not willing to defend national sovereignty?
Well, what I would say to my right honourable friend is that the support for a rules-based international order and for international law is a central part of our foreign policy and the decisions that the UK government makes and the actions that we take. There is an approach which says that, look, this is a new world of great power politics and spheres of influence and which rejects the role for the international law. That is not our view, not only because we believe this is right, it is part of our values and part of our progressive values, but also because it is in UK interests as well to do so. It's why we believe not just in the UN Charter, but also more broadly in international law and a rules-based framework as well. But it's also why we believe in rules-based alliances and the maintenance of those alliances. And contrary to the approach of the sort of great power strategic hemispheres, we believe in the transatlantic alliance and the NATO alliance. That is why we're taking such a strong position on Greenland and Denmark, but it is also why we work with close allies and talk to them on many issues privately as well as publicly.
Father of the House, Sir Edward Lee.
At the end of the Foreign Secretary's statement, I'm no wiser as to whether the government approves this action and believes or does not believe that whether it breaks international law.
Secretary.
Well, I think, as I said in my statement, as the Prime Minister said on Saturday, there can be no tears shed for the Maduro regime and the damage that it has done over many years. It is for the US to set out the legal position behind their actions. We were not involved in those actions. We continue to be guided by international law.
Foreign Secretary.
Well, let me just reiterate our strong support for the Greenlanders and for Denmark. Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark, and it is the future for Greenland is for them to decide, not for anybody else, notwithstanding any of the things that we have heard the US say or others say as well. We are very clear about that, and I have raised this issue internationally, and we will continue to do so, but we are very firm in our view on this point.
Edward Morello.
I will not mourn the passing of the Maduro regime, but I will mourn the passing of the rules-based international order. If we accept the premise that a big power country can do what it wants without any ramifications anywhere in the world, then we accept the behaviour of Putin over the last 2 decades and the behaviour of Xi Jinping in the future. We cannot allow it to stand. And it is clear that our future security lies with closer cooperation with our European allies. So what is she doing to ensure that the UK stands in lockstep with those people that do share our values?
Foreign Secretary.
Well, we have strengthened our relationship with our European partners. Indeed, I've been in touch with the Danish Foreign Minister today exactly on the issue around Greenland. And we will continue to support the rules-based international order, but also the UN Charter and international law. But all I would just say to him is I really would warn members against making equivalence here around what Putin has done in Ukraine, where thousands of children have been kidnapped, where they have invaded a country led by a democratically elected President Zelensky. We should be careful about recognising what we say and the implications of it.